Hi guys, I am Chris Johnson, CEO of Advanced Genetics and co-promoter, along with Adam Ohlenbach, of the Naturals Classic, which is coming up in 12 weeks. And this is our 12-week out video. And today's topic is supplements. Now, as someone who has been almost infatuated with supplements since the age of 15, I thought that I would take the reins on this one and do the video myself. This video was shot on location at Supplement King in Larry UTEC. I hope you guys find it really informative. There's a lot of information and misinformation on supplements, and hopefully this clarifies some of the things that you guys should be looking for. Now, while this video is playing, I will be around, so I will be answering any of the questions that you have. So I will be answering them live for you. I did notice that there was one thing that I did miss while in the video, and that was addressing artificial colors and artificial sweeteners. So I'll just give you my brief take on those things. Artificial colors, I think there's no reason for them at all to be in supplements, and this includes dyes and capsules. So that's my personal stance on artificial colors. There are some natural colors that can be used, and there is a correlation between color and taste. So I do understand why there needs to be some colors. In my product line, Advanced Genetics, we don't use any artificial colors in our capsules, and we also don't use any artificial colors in any of our powders. So I think that's important. There's a lot of health issues that can arise from using artificial colors. I'm not going to get into those right now. I'm going to let you guys do your own investigation on those sort of things. The second thing is artificial sweeteners. I think artificial sweeteners are fine if kept to a minimum. And that what we see with artificial sweeteners like sucralose is that everybody has their individual dose level, like their individual amount that they can handle without really suffering any sort of adverse side effects. However, if you were to be taking in a number of supplements and they all use artificial sweeteners, you will potentially disrupt your gut flora. And this is a very important thing to understand. And so anytime that you can reach for a natural, like a stevia sweetened product, I think that is probably in your best interest, and at least minimize the amount of artificial sweeteners that you take in. Now we're going to go right to the video now. I do want to say one more thing about the Naturals Classic. Remember, this is the show that is the qualifier for this summer's Natural Nationals, and this is open to everyone across Canada. So if you're looking to do the Natural Nationals this year, no matter what province you're in, you can come down to the Naturals Classic here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. The date is April 7th. You can get more information. You can register at www.naturalsclassic.com. And I do want to mention as well, I don't want to scare off any first-time competitors, we do have a novice division at the Naturals Classic. So if this is your very first time stepping on stage, don't worry. Your aspirations may not be to go to nationals, but you just may want to get your feet wet in a naturals competition. And so we invite you to compete in the novice division. So that's about it for me now. I hope you guys enjoy the video, and hopefully you learn a thing or two. Hi, I'm Chris Johnson, co-promoter of the Naturals Classic, coming up in 12 weeks at Pier 21 here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Today, I am at Supplement King at their Larry UTEC location. They have 3 locations in the Halifax, Dartmouth area, one at Park Lane Mall, one here at Larry UTEC, and one at Penhorn Mall in Dartmouth. Supplement King has locations all across Canada, from St. John's, Newfoundland, all the way to Kelowna, BC. And today, I'm going to tell you guys the supplements that I recommend that you at least investigate, look at, and may want to use during your contest prep. I'm an IFBB Pro and holistic nutritionist, so the advice I'm going to give you today is the best advice that I possibly can from my 20 years plus of experience. So first, we're going to start with some of the supplements that are not really performance-based. They are kind of performance-based in a way, because as you increase your health overall, your performance and everything is going to go up. But these are some of the supplements that I recommend you should take on a daily basis in order to keep your health at an optimal level. The first one is vitamin D3. And my recommended intake for vitamin D3 is about 4,000 IUs a day. This is a much higher than the doctor recommended or Health Canada recommended, which is only 1,000 IUs. But research shows that a lot of people are deficient in vitamin D3. The only real way to find out if you need vitamin D3 is to go and get a blood test. However, more than likely you will need at least some, and 4,000 is the dose that I recommend. Now, of course, I should add that I'm not a medical doctor, so anything that I do recommend here, you have to do your own research and make your own decisions, and I'm not responsible for anyone's health. Next up is omega-3 now. Our diets in North America tend to be really high in omega-6 fatty acid, and our diets tend not to have enough omega-3s in them. So we really want to balance that omega-3 to omega-6, and we can do that by taking supplemental omega-3s. And I usually recommend about 3 grams of omega-3. You can take them in liquid format, or you can take them in gel capsules. A lot of times these omega-3s are about 1 gram per capsule, so that's 3 capsules a day spread out throughout the day. Another product that I highly recommend is a greens product. Now you might ask, you're going to see here, actually don't necessarily recommend vitamins and minerals, but I do recommend a good quality greens product. And the reason for that is that a greens product is going to be concentrated fruits and vegetables, which give your body naturally occurring vitamins and minerals. And as opposed to a synthetic vitamin or mineral, your body's going to absorb and utilize these much better. So greens formula is great, especially when you're competing. As you get closer and closer to the show, and you're reducing calories and you're upping your exercise, you're going to find that your immune system can oftentimes become compromised. So taking in a good a good green supplement will help keep your immune system functioning optimally. Next up is a digestive enzyme. I find that these are really helpful for me, and I know a lot of other people would agree that a digestive enzyme really helps metabolize proteins, carbohydrates, and fats optimally. Now, not everybody needs a digestive enzyme, and sometimes if you really listen to your body, it'll tell you if you're not digesting foods properly. But I find that one digestive enzyme with every meal just kind of gives you that guarantee that your meals are going to be assimilated properly. Next up is a probiotic, and these are important for healthy gut bacteria and keep your body operating and functioning at an optimal level. Really, health begins in the gut. So by taking a probiotic, you're just going to kind of guarantee that your gut is operating at its full function. So this is something you can take once or twice a day. I like the ones that come at room temperature, because then you don't have to worry about how they were transported to the store and losing their potency. So have a look for one of those. They're not super expensive either, so they're a nice little addition, especially if you have any sort of IBS or Crohn's or colitis, or even just sort of anything kind of off with your gut. You may find that a probiotic will help with that. Next up is creatine, and creatine is one of the most researched supplements that are out there. It's been shown to help with cell volumization, ATP production, and a whole host of other health benefits, including some longevity studies that have been done. So creatine is a great product to take. You can take it in a few different forms. There are 2 that I recommend. One is creatine monohydrate. Creatine monohydrate tends to be the least expensive form of creatine, and it is the most researched form of creatine. However, I do find that a lot of people find that they will hold a little bit of water, a little subcutaneous water, when they supplement with creatine monohydrate. So in those circumstances, I actually recommend Creatine HCl. And it tends to be a little better, or a lot better, depending on who you talk to, absorbed than a creatine monohydrate. The other benefit of creatine HCl is you don't really have to load with it, and you only have to take about 1.5 to 3 grams daily in order for your body to become saturated with the creatine. You can get a product that's just a straight creatine. You can either get a creatine HCl or creatine monohydrate, or you can get one like the GP3 Evo, which also combines really cool ingredients like L-carnitine tartrate, which helps free up fatty acids and it burns body fat as energy. It also has beta-alanine and B vitamins in there too. Which brings us to amino acids. Now, there's a little bit of a toss-up between whether you want to use branched chain amino acids or essential amino acids. Well, what's the difference? Well, branched chain amino acids are made up of 3 amino acids, leucine, isoleucine, and valine. The essential amino acids are made up of the branched chains plus the other 5 essential amino acids. Now, I tend to recommend to my athletes to use the essential amino acids, mainly because branched chain amino acids have been shown to kind of, if you take branched chains, they can throw off your amino acid levels, and this is not always a good thing. Some people experience depression, and there's actually some new research showing that you can actually encounter some fat gain or hampered fat loss using branched chains. So what I recommend to my athletes and what I recommend to you is to seek out a full spectrum essential amino acid product. Now, the benefit of an essential amino acid product is it actually works in your body like a concentrated protein. In fact, we take protein to get the essential amino acids. Protein is made of essential and non-essential amino acids. Not essential meaning that our body can make them, essential meaning that we need to get them from food or supplements. And this is why we take in protein, and this is exactly what an essential amino acid product will supplement your body with. Next up, we have hormone type products. When you're dieting for a show, especially the natural athletes, you will find that the lower body fat that you have, the lower your, in males, the lower your testosterone will become. In women, we find that estrogen is the primary reason why women hold a lot of lower body fat. So if there's a way to help in men to keep testosterone levels up, and in women help kind of minimize and balance estrogen levels, this is really what we want to do, and this is why we turn to hormonal-based supplements. Now, these ones that are in front of me are completely natural, and they're okay for a natural show. We have a product like Alpha, which boosts your growth hormone, which is another anabolic hormone, while helping keeping testosterone from converting to estrogen, which is called an anti-aromatase. We have a female product like Estro Free, which has DIM in it, along with a whole bunch of other ingredients, which helps balance estrogen, helps the body get rid of xenoestrogens, which have been shown to be potentially harmful. Next up is a product that you may or may not need, depending on your nutrition, depending on your natural energy levels, but it can be beneficial, and that's a pre-workout. What you want to do is when you look for a pre-workout is you want to make sure that it not only contains ingredients to help boost energy, but also has components in it to promote more nitric oxide. And this is what gives you a pump. So ingredients like citrulline malate, arginine, and agmatine sulfate can help to effectively boost nitric oxide levels. Next up are fat burners. Now you're going to do most of your fat burning with your nutrition, your workouts, and your cardio. But taking a fat burner can enhance the experience, can get you from point A to point B a little bit easier. And most fat burners also will help with energy levels, which is kind of critical when you're getting ready for a show and your food intake is not as high as normal. They can also help with carb cravings and cravings overall, just helping to minimize appetite, a little bit of appetite suppression, and some can even help with carbohydrate metabolism as well. So a good fat burner is definitely something you might want to consider adding to your arsenal. Now, of course, if you're competing in a natural show, you always want to check the WADA list of prohibited substances to make sure that the supplements that you're taking are not going to be found on that list. Most of the products that are manufactured in Canada have to go through some pretty stringent Health Canada regulations, so chances are you're pretty safe. Next up is a good sleep supplement, and sleep is one of those things that are often overlooked. We like to take supplements that bring us up, to give us energy and help us train. We sometimes forget how critical sleep is to our recovery and our growth. And you will find, as you get closer and closer to a show, that sleep is one of those things that is harder to come by. You just kind of get more antsy as your calories are restricted and your exercise goes up. This is completely natural. So you might want to consider taking a good sleep aid. And the ones that I like are the supplements that have a number of herbs that help you relax and sleep, plus a good dose of ZMA. Many athletes tend to be deficient in these two minerals, zinc and magnesium. So I think that whether you're male or you're female, you can really benefit from a good sleep supplement. And finally, protein. So there are many different types of protein that you can take. There's vegetarian protein, There's a whey protein, which is probably the most popular. There's also milk proteins like casein protein. And each protein will have its own benefits. Whey tends to be the most popular, and I do recommend taking a good quality whey protein. You can either take a whey concentrate isolate blend, or you can take a complete isolate. It really depends on you as an individual. I don't think it makes a huge difference which one you take. There are some health benefits to taking one that's a blend of concentrate and isolate versus a straight isolate, or the next level, which is hydrolysate. However, at the end of the day, it doesn't really make a huge difference on which one you choose. You just want to make sure that you're able to digest it, that it feels good, and that it tastes good as well. There's lots of options out there, so you can investigate those. I really recommend not taking a protein every day, especially if it's whey, because remember, whey is a dairy product, and dairy tends to be one of those things that are highly reactive in people, and you can develop intolerances very easily. So I usually recommend, if you're going to use a protein powder, use it no more than twice a week. Just cycle it in with the other proteins. Plus, while you're dieting, it's good to reach for good quality whole foods, because they'll keep you satiated a lot longer. So I hope you found this video helpful. I wish you all the best in the next 12 weeks of your prep. If you have any questions, you can go to www.naturalsclassic.com. I can be reached at chris@naturalsclassic.com. Be sure to check out the Supplement King in your area. Hoorah!